following opinions are solely those of BoatTest.com and its test captain.
Hi, I'm Steve for BoatTest.com, and today we're going to conduct a features inspection and full sea trial of a beautiful cruising yacht from Riviera, the 5400 Sport Yacht. She's the second largest of the 4-boat series that combines customer feedback and a long history of quality and workmanship into a single cruiser with a 2 or 3 stateroom layout. Let's start by looking at her features. There are 2 ways to board the 5400 Sport Yacht. First is from the swim platform. It's hydraulic, so we can use it to launch the tender or create our own private beach. A reboarding ladder is to port. The tender garage is just ahead and opens via a switch at the starboard steps to the aft deck. Inside, the space is big enough to hold a fully inflated tender. Controls for the winch are just alongside. There are stairs to both port and starboard leading to the aft deck, and both are protected by stainless framed gates. A freshwater shower is to the port side for rinsing off before entering the cockpit. The second boarding method is via side doors in the cockpit, and courtesy lighting switches are just to starboard. Cockpit seating consists of an L-shaped seat ahead and to starboard, wrapping around a gloss-finished solid wood table on a high-low pedestal. Aft is a bench seat. Drink holders are in the armrests, and speakers are both under and to the side. Both are upholstered in a combination of marine-grade vinyl with custom embroidery and Sunbrella fabric. Decking is all natural teak. An outdoor galley is to port. It features dual electric grills, a sink. Below are a refrigerator and ice maker. To both sides of the cockpit are side curtains adding protection. Overhead is a hardtop extending partway across the aft deck with a fixed awning extending past that. An opening sunroof brings the sun through. And in the deck there's a hatch leading to the tender garage so we can drop items in without having to launch the tender first. Steps to both sides lead to the side decks to the bow. The side decks measure 15 inches wide and rails come up to 25 inches. We'd like to see grab rails along the cabin sides. At the trunk cabin there's a pair of chaise lounges with a pop-up cabana. Grab rails and drink holders are to the sides, and the lounge backs are adjustable to multiple positions. We enter the interior through a stainless steel framed glass door. The galley is located aft on the main deck, ensuring that the host is always at the center of the gatherings. It's a U-shaped galley with plenty of counter space that includes a covered sink and trash receptacle. I'd like to see raised edges along the counters. There's a 4-burner induction cooktop with a vent fan just above. Below is the convection oven, plenty of storage, and refrigerated drawers. To the opposite side are more refrigerated drawers and a wine chiller. A 40-inch TV is just above, and on top is more storage. The aft window can be opened up to both blend the inside with the outside and make serving to the aft deck that much easier. The galley can also be used for serving light snacks with 2 pedestal stools just ahead of the open counter space. Blue courtesy lighting surrounds the overhead. Electric blinds are fitted to all windows and the door. As we enter the salon, just to the left is an end table with storage drawers, and notice how they're soft close. On top, there's a button for raising or lowering the high-low pedestal table at the L-shaped sofa. Here's a good time to notice how the beautiful fit and finish that's synonymous with Riviera is displayed. Here we have the high-gloss walnut. Satin finish is standard, and the joinery is perfect throughout. Just ahead, there's L-shaped seating wrapping around another pedestal table. This will likely be the most popular place when the 5400 is underway, as it allows the guests to accompany the captain and even enjoy the same view. The table is beautifully finished, and notice how it folds for easier entry and exit from the seat. To the opposite side, we not only have convenient storage, but opening side windows allowing cross ventilation. Overhead is a huge sunroof that can be shaded or protected by a screen. Now let's take a look below decks at our accommodations. With the helm center mounted, the entry to the lower deck is just to starboard, and notice at the bottom of the companionway allows plenty of sunlight in from the forward windshields. Let's start with the master. The stateroom is full beam. We measured headroom of 6 feet 4 inches. The center mounted berth measured 6 feet 11 inches by 6 feet 5 inches. Nightstands to both sides blend in with the woodwork just above, and notice the recessed tops with leather padding. The standard layout includes a starboard side chaise. Here, it's swapped out for the second chest of drawers, and both include these deep storage bins. Hull side windows are to port and starboard, and opening port lights are just ahead, and all are fitted with automatic blinds. Forward is a 32-inch TV flush mounted into the walnut bulkhead. Deep hanging lockers are to both sides. And the fit and finish of the main deck is carried to this deck, where we see the walnut woodwork finished in high gloss. We can also choose a satin finish. I like the rounded edges, and notice the joinery work that requires no caulking to correct mistakes because there just aren't any. Where there are multiple pieces, it's all cut from the same section of wood, so all the grains are matching. Forward into port is the master head. It includes Corian counters with a vessel sink. The climate control is also included here. There's an opening port light, and like all on this level, it includes a sensor to alert the helm when opened. And there's a fully enclosed walk-in shower with corner-mounted shelving. As we continue forward, notice how the stateroom door recesses into the side bulkhead. Behind the door is a combination washer-dryer, and opposite are storage drawers. Directly ahead is the VIP in the usual forward position. Headroom is 6 feet 8 inches. The hanging lockers are to the sides. There's storage over the hull side windows, and the air conditioning vents are just above the cabinets. There's a private entrance to the head, and this also includes a separate entrance for use as a day head. Directly across is the optional third stateroom. This stateroom can be optioned out for a lower lounge area, and that's an attractive concept. Here, the stateroom was chosen, and it features over-under berths with the usual accommodations for storage, TV, and climate control. Natural light comes from an overhead hatch. Moving to operations, the main battery switches are to the port side of the aft deck, so we can power up the 5400 before we even enter. As we enter the 5400, the CZone touchscreen is just a port. It allows switching of all electrical systems, tank monitoring, and more, all from this one screen. We can also turn on all the systems or just as easily shut down the boat systems with one button. It's programmed so this will also leave the air conditioner going to avoid mold and mildew while we're away. Shore power connectivity is in the starboard cockpit stair riser, and the cord reel is right alongside. The helm is center mounted, which puts us right in the sweet spot of the 5400 from a handling perspective. There's a 3-piece windshield with mullions that didn't seem to bother me at all. Vents are located across all glass. Riviera embraced Volvo Penta's glass dash with 17-inch display showing GPS, radar, sonar, and all gauges being fully selectable by the operator. I'm happy to see the vents adding heating and air conditioning to the operating station. The soft touch dash has elevated beverage holders to both sides. Below is a faux wood panel with push-button switches for quick access items, and the labels are backlit. The horn doesn't stand out, but it's at the end of the row, so it's quick to spot. The glass panel concept continues with a smaller Garmin display to the left, and like the larger displays, it's integrated into the Volvo Penta EVC system, so all engine parameters can be viewed from here. Then we have the CZone display for handling all the electrical switches, tank levels, alarms. The thermostat is beneath, and we don't usually see that so conveniently located at the helm. Then there's the windlass control and the remote spotlight panel. The steering wheel is mounted to a tilt base. To the right are the ignition controls and engine start-stops. The Seakeeper gyro panel and the VHF, which by the way was a nice location, both from being clear of the knees and in the ability to drape the active mic right over the starboard panel for quicker access. A sub-panel to the right has the IPS joystick with its individual features, the engine control binnacle with its host of features, then the windshield wiper washers, right where my hand naturally falls. I'd like to see the engine controls and joystick moved back and the wiper controls moved ahead for a more natural running position. The remote control for the displays, perfectly positioned for operating while sitting back. Just behind is an iPad-sized cubby with connectivity plugs, and a drink holder is further back. The seat is amazingly comfortable and fully adjustable for slide, height, and even recline. Flip-up armrests also make it easier to get in and out of the seat. I also appreciate the footrest down below, and while we don't have companion seating at this center helm per se, we do have the informal gathering area just to port with, as we said, guests enjoying the same view as the captain. The engine room is accessed from a forward hatch in the aft deck. Steps lead right to the front of the engines. Inside are the twin IPS 950 pod drive engines, the 17.5 kW generators alongside the steps. The bulk of the space is taken up with the tender garage, but there's still room to the sides for servicing. Notice the electric winch for hauling the tender in. As expected, all the filters and sea strainers are easily accessible. Sight gauges tell the fuel quantity at a glance. The engines are connected to the pods via jack shafts, which put the propulsion system well aft of the engine room. Side hatches to the deck provide access to the pod drives. The one to starboard also houses the shore-powered cord reel. As we move towards the bow again, there are 10-inch midship cleats, and a door to the side bulkhead leads to the concealed fuel and water fills. Just overhead is the streamlined antenna arch, adding to the 5400 styling. Fully forward, the rail height is 35 inches. There's a deck-mounted windlass with the all-chain road leading to a flush anchor roller. A hatch to the starboard side leads to road access. To port, there's a freshwater washdown connection and the windlass remote. Rounding out the running gear at the cockpit, there's beefy chafing gear mounted atop the cap rail, and just below are vertically mounted cleats, all repeated to the other side. Convenient fender storage is in the aft seating armrests. So now let's take a look at the numbers. The Riviera 5400 Sport Yacht has a length overall of 57 feet 3 inches, a beam of 16 feet, and a draft of 4 feet 2 inches. With an empty weight of 54,600 pounds, 82% fuel, and 2 people on board, we had a loosely estimated test weight of 59,380 pounds. And that is without including such items as the custom tender and Seakeeper gyro, adding considerably more weight. With the twin 725 horsepower Volvo Penta IPS 950 spooled up to 2,500 RPM, we reached our top speed of 31.4 knots. Best cruise came in at 2250 and 26.8 knots. At that speed, the 59.5 gallon per hour fuel burn translated into 0.5 nautical miles per gallon and a range of 342.9 nautical miles, while still holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 845 gallon total fuel capacity. Handling is typical of an IPS boat with slow turning characteristics, helping to ensure that everyone on board remains comfortable. She'll come around 360 degrees in 45 seconds at 31 knots. She has a gentle roll into the turns, and we did test her with the Seakeeper gyro turned to off. Her hull is also characteristic of the Riviera line, with no hull slap or pounding as we transitioned across the wakes of our camera boat, leaving us with a clean and smooth transition. As for handling around the dock, well, she's joystick handled, so it's a non-event. There's a stick at the helm and another here in the cockpit that has a flip-open canvas cover. We were also easily able to dock her and tie her up single-handed, so from an owner-operator standpoint, she's ideal. Even when things got a little tighter, she was still able to be handled with ease, so we had no concerns about the joystick not being dialed into the boat. It was actually an ideal match. Overall, it's clear that the 5400 Sport Yacht is a well-equipped and well-laid-out cruiser that an owner-operator or a cruising couple can handle quite easily. She's a joy to drive, and of course, she's got the outstanding fit and finish that we've come to expect from the brand. And that's my full look at the 5400 Sport Yacht from Riviera. For BoatTest.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.